I just bought this wrecked Toyota Corolla Hybrid for what I thought was an absolute steal. And even though it's extremely cheap, I don't think it's that good of a deal. And that's because even though the damage doesn't look that bad, once you look a little bit deeper, it gets bad very fast. On top of that, this car is absolutely disgusting. I don't even want to go in there.
Disgusting!
I have no idea who lived in here, but that's mold right there. Someone did something very disgusting in the back seat. The trunk looks like a crime scene. I'm pretty sure that's a lot of ash on the floor because right above that, the headliner is burnt from what looks like smoke. But of course, that's only the tip of the iceberg because the key and the battery was stolen from this car and it's a non-runner, which means we might have more problems that I don't even know about yet. So did I get a really good deal or did I just buy a lot of problems? Well, hopefully both. But in order to answer the question of whether this is a good deal or a bad deal, we first need to rewind back to when I bought this car because it all comes down to the numbers. All right, it is auction day and I'm looking to buy basically any cheap rebuild I can get my hands on that has 4 doors, 4 cylinders, and less than 100,000 miles. For example, this 2015 Volkswagen GTI. I guess, let's see what happens. 1750, 1800, 1850, 1900, 2000. Is that 21? 22. There's only one guy bidding against me. Well, 2 guys. 2350. 2450. 2550. All right, that should be my last bid. 2700. Well, there you go. It's not mine. It wasn't meant to be. I guess let's start looking for another car. This time we're looking at a 2013 Honda Accord EXL with 106,000 miles. All right. So I can bid 1 time. Yep, well, that's a loss. Attempt number 3. This time is a 2023 Toyota Corolla Hybrid. All right, there it is. Let's do 4,200. Oh no. I just bought a Toyota Corolla Hybrid. I thought that was gonna go for like 6 grand. I don't know if I should be happy or concerned. If it goes for that much, either I missed something or I got a really good deal. I guess we'll see. All right, so we have about a 3-hour drive ahead of us. And one thing I didn't notice is that the car actually doesn't have keys, which is a little suspicious, I'm not gonna lie. And then also it's missing the battery, which I thought that was the main reason the car wasn't running and driving, but there's the combination. So either the car was stolen or something very suspicious is going on and we might have a bad motor. And there you go, we're here. Now we just have to wait for the car. And there you go, the car's officially home. And now it's time to take a closer look at the damage. Spoilers, is hiding some damage. Even though it doesn't look that bad from the front, and the crash bar is literally perfect. If you look up in here, that is bent in almost like 6 inches, maybe even a foot. That should be approximately over here. That means the radiator, the AC condenser, the fans, all of that is ruined. The core support is all bent up like a pretzel. I would say from this point forward, everything seems perfect. Unfortunately, this headlight did not survive. It's cracked and it leaked out most of the blinker fluid, so that's unfortunate. But I guess the miracle is that the frame somehow survived and the crash bar didn't get damaged, which is just confusing. And then this fender over here got pushed out from the accident, so this fender has some damage. I do think we could fix the fender though. As for physical damage from the accident, that's it, but there's a lot more going on with this car. The passenger rear tire is flat. and we're still not entirely sure why. This reminds me of the M3 because the same wheel on my M3 was flat and it ended up being okay. The unfortunate news starts inside of the car. If you look up at the headliner over there, it is disgusting. The seats are disgusting, the floor is disgusting, everything in this car is disgusting. I don't know who was driving this car, but they clearly didn't respect themselves or this car because it looks like a dumpster basically. And we're starting to think that maybe this was a theft recovery because I don't know anyone who owns a 3-year-old car and treats it like this. What we were expecting were the airbags, the wheel airbag, the knee airbag down there, and the current airbag alongside the seat belt. So until we get the rest of the car apart, I think that's everything wrong with it. I think, but none of that really matters until we get this car started and hopefully off this trailer. And that's because even if we could fix this car, it actually might not be worth fixing if the engine is bad. And until we get keys and a battery, we're not going to find out. So instead of buying a battery, I temporarily stole one from my dad. I robbed him of his battery and shoved it in here. There's literally no clearance on both sides. I had to rip the headlight out to make it fit, but it's fully connected. And now we have a battery. I bought a key. Yes, it cost that much money. I brought it to a locksmith, programmed the key. All right, our brand new key has been programmed, so let's try to start it. And then it was time for the moment of truth. If the car starts, we're in the clear. But if it doesn't start, we're screwed. It's on.
Yeah. Ta-da!
There you go. That means we didn't buy an absolute lemon. Now, of course, it's a huge relief that the car actually runs and drives, but that doesn't answer the question of whether it's a good deal or not. That question can only be answered once we find out how bad the damage really is. So let's take it home and rip it apart. Because I have a feeling that right now it doesn't look that bad, but the deeper that we dig, the worse it's gonna look. Honestly, this might sound weird, but these are usually some of my favorite rebuilds because you never really know what you're going to get. Sometimes you get a really good deal, and then sometimes you get a car that you wish you didn't. But no matter what, even if it ends up being a bad deal, I always really enjoy the process. Honestly, I think this foam is usable. Well, whoever stole my battery left their wrench in here, and they didn't even use the correct wrench. This is a 11 millimeter, not even a 10 or a 12. Yikes. Oh my gosh. Oh no. That is pushed in almost an entire foot. How is that even possible? Without the bumper, you can really see where all the damage went. I genuinely don't understand how the crash bar wasn't damaged because it's damaged up there and damaged down there. But this piece right there should be basically parallel with this line right there. It should be going that way, not that way. I don't know if this red piece is easily replaceable. I see bolts right here, so I'm assuming it's somewhat easy to replace that. And then this metal bar is creased and cracked. All the plastics underneath the car are ruined. And unfortunately, this active shutter is damaged as well, which this is probably pretty expensive. You can see an ear of the frame is slightly bent. I'm really curious to see how much stuff behind this survived, because I could see the AC compressor and the alternator are somewhere back here. So hopefully those are okay, alongside the radiator fans. But based on how much this is twisted, I do think there's more damage behind it. It's like hard to get it on camera because it's just so twisted. Like, look at that. All right, enough fun and games. Let's get this car off of the trailer. Hopefully I don't scrape the front bumper. Now it's time to get cleaning. And yes, it really is that disgusting. And there you go, the car is a little bit more clean, but it's still not perfect. The headliner is still completely disgusting. Also, while we were cleaning, we found this really janky wiring. It's masking tape to what looks like speaker wires connected to LEDs. This is genuinely a fire hazard, so we're going to take this out. For some reason, there's like wood chips inside of the dashboard. With all that being said, there are two things we still want to figure out. How bad is the cabin air filter and how bad is the hybrid battery? filter. Do you think they're gonna be good or bad?
No good.
No good? Yeah, I figured. I'm actually really curious to see how bad it is, because based off of the rest of the car, most likely it hasn't been changed ever since it was purchased. And this car has 70,000 miles. It was smoked in, and it's probably going to be very disgusting. I don't even want to see it. Oh no. Oh no. That's supposed to be white. That is all secondhand smoking. If this is what the filter looks like, imagine what the driver's lungs look like. You guys already know the drill. Top comment gets this in the mail. No, not really. This is going in the trash. So the first filter was a dud, but there's another filter, the hybrid battery filter. And also, given the cabin air filter, I have a feeling this is going to be very disgusting as well. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's really dirty. Now, before I show you the filter, this is after 3 years of ownership. The back seat's absolutely covered in junk. But if we look at the filter, it's literally clogged. That is what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to have fins. It's completely clogged. I'm honestly surprised that this guy even changed his oil.
Imagine how much junk was flying inside of the car.
I know, in only 3 years. That's the sad part. Yeah, time to order some new filters, that's for sure. Oh my gosh. I'm not sure if this needs to be replaced or if we could just clean this. I'm going to do a little bit of research before I throw this away, but that is genuinely the worst filter I've ever seen. And after doing some research, I bought new filters, and good thing I did, because yeah, that's bad. But regardless, I put the new ones back in and we are officially done with cleaning. So with that out of the way, we can officially get back to the damage. All right, let's figure out how much stuff is actually damaged, because until we get the radiator and the AC condenser out alongside the core support, it's hard to know how much stuff behind it survived. Do you think that's slightly bent? From my understanding, this hole is functional because it adds extra cooling, I think. On a real note, this piece is supposed to be curved this way, not this way. I don't know how to get this core support out, so I'm just gonna start loosening stuff until it comes out. Ow. I think that's all the wiring. Should come out now. There you go. Nice. Ooh, there it is. That is supposed to be straight that way, and it's supposed to be flat. That looks good to me. That is such a small filter. But yeah, the intake box is broken in half. So that is unfortunate. All right, the only thing left to really take out is the radiator, and this is giving me a lot of problems. As you can see, I already got one of the hoses off, but there are still like 4 or 5 different hoses back here that still need to be disconnected, and they're being very stubborn. What are you stuck on? I finally got the radiator out with all of these hoses. It's really complicated. I'm guessing it's because this is for the hybrid system. This is for the actual engine. So it basically has 2 cooling systems. Either way, now that it's out of the way, we can finally see what it was hiding. And good news, I think the only thing that was damaged was the bottom of the airbox and the mounting bracket. Other than that, everything else survived. This is basically the best case scenario. So now we can officially start fixing the car. And the first thing that we're going to fix is the AC condenser. I know it looks beyond repair, but if we're able to fix this, this will save us about $250. $100 for the actual part and $150 for recharging the entire system. It's a little risky, but if it works, that's a lot of money saved. Check it out. It's basically fixed now. You can see it's a little bit shorter where it was hit because the metal kind of shrunk. But other than that, it's basically straight. And if you look from the top, it's basically perfectly straight. Definitely not perfect, but it'll do. Now that that's done, there's basically nothing else we can really do until we get parts. So let's move inside of the car and let's get the headliner out and try to fix it. Now, in preparation to get this headliner out, I already took out the driver's seat. So hopefully we can go ahead and take it out through the driver's door. In case you're wondering why we need to take it out, it's because the current airbag went off, it ripped the headliner, and while this headliner is just disgusting everywhere, there are stains in the back, there's stains up here. It needs a lot of work. So let's try to get it out. What if I wanted to keep this hood?
Keep it. It's all yours.
Now I can finally show on camera how disgusting this headliner is. Look at this absolute gem. This is about 3 tones too dark. That's what it's supposed to look like. Not like that. And then over here in the back seat, it looks like they were spilling ketchup on the ceiling somehow. Basically, this entire headliner is junk. With the headliner out of the way, we can officially get to the current airbag that blew. Now, before you say in the comments, yes, I could have got to this without taking out the headliner, but since it was ripped and I want to fix it anyways, it's easier with it out of the way. Now, getting the current airbag out is super simple. You just unplug it. It's two 10 millimeters and a couple clips and it'll come out.
Hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right.
With that absolute nightmare out of the way, we can move on to our next nightmare. This wiring is somehow connected underneath the center console, and while I'm in there, might as well get the airbag computer out. So let's get the center console out of here. There are literally no bolts holding this together, but they tap the lights straight into the cigarette lighter with masking tape. The battery's unplugged so I don't electrocute myself, but I'm curious to see, oh no. They didn't even do a correct connection. They literally just tied them together. You can see the wires were actually getting so hot that they almost caught on fire. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about doing this, please don't do this. Be gone. Now we got to figure out how to fix these wires so they don't accidentally short out and cause a fire. And then I need to figure out where the airbag module is. Typically they're right here, so I don't know why it's not here. And just like that, the airbag module is out. And honestly, this car has been very easy to work on, except for that current airbag. But now that we got these out, we can send both of them out to get rebuilt and reset, and then we'll be able to throw them back in the car. But in the meantime, let's answer the question from the beginning of the video. So did I get a really good deal, or did I just buy a lot of problems? Well, hopefully both. And now that we've taken apart all of the broken parts and we know what's damaged and not damaged, I can now finally give you an answer. But it's not that simple. Because if we want to find out if it's a good deal or a bad deal, first we need to know how much it's going to cost, how much it's worth, and see the price difference. Because if we break even, it's not a good deal. And if we're making money, I mean, I guess it depends on how much. With that being said, the final bid was $4,200. After taxes, fees, and all the random costs, just to get the car off of Copart, it cost $5,220. So basically $1,000 in fees. Grand total, I've spent $2,800 on parts. So that means I've spent grand total $8,025.57. I do think I'm going to spend maybe another $1,000 on paint, random pieces here and there that I might have forgot, coolant and alignment, stuff like that. So that means my grand total that I think I'm going to spend is about $9,000, maybe less, hopefully. Now, depending on how you look at that, that's either a really good deal or a really bad deal. Let me explain. $9,000 for a 3-year-old hybrid seems like an awesome deal, but also the car isn't really worth that much. I mean, it has 70,000 miles, it's a base model, it's a smoker's car, it has a rebuilt title, or it will have a rebuilt title. And well, I'm going to spend almost an entire month fixing it. So how much is a car like that even worth? Well, after doing some research, I think I can confidently say this car is worth $13,000, maybe 12, which means for a month of work, I'm saving about $3,000 maybe. So I guess I'll leave that decision up to you guys. Is that a good deal? Or is it a waste of time? Either way, in the next video, we're going to put it back together, finish the rebuild, and we're going to see what a $9,000 Toyota Corolla Hybrid looks like. If you're excited to see that video, make sure to like the video and subscribe, and I guess keep an eye out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.